Hey guys, welcome back. Today is a fun one. We're going to be playing with water and products. I'm going to show you 4 ways that we can use water to create some really cool effects in product photography. So if you're into product photography, this one's for you. Let's dive deep into this one. Here's our first setup here. It's going to be an underwater illusion type look without getting our product wet. So I've just done a simple little kind of spa-ish type look to this. But how do we create the underwater effect? We basically, in my case, take a glass bowl or anything that's clear that can contain water, put some water in it, and then find a hard light source, and then you simply hold it over top of the product, and you can create that bit of rippling type effect. Now, I'll come in a little closer for you so you can actually see how the effect works. So here's a glass dish with a bit of water in. You can see already how it's creating that illusion of the underwater look. And as I shake this, jiggle it, use a hairdryer, whatever, you can see how it creates that illusion underneath to create that underwater type effect. It's that simple. There you go. Our first effect that we did with water, we simply created an underwater look, and I think it turned out quite well. Check out this finished photo. That's pretty good. You can see how you get the shadowing and the highlights, and it kind of gives that illusion of being underwater. So that's our first way of using water. Let's get into the next one. Okay, this is going to be water effect number 2 for our product photography. I'm going to use the same bowl. I've added a little more water to it, but instead of having our product underneath, the product's going to go in. Now what you can do is use some sticky tack down, and then you can put your item, whatever your product is, on it, and it'll help hold it in place. I have added a bit more water in here because I want to get a bit more of a splash effect. So without further ado, let's get some of our propping in here. Now with our product firmly in place, we can just simply give it a little jiggle, and you can see how the water moves around and splashes on it. Now you can see how things fell apart quickly on me because I didn't put any Mac tack down on it. But you can do this, you can create some big splashing and some big waves on it, and you can get some different looks to it. But that's the basic setup. Now there's another thing that we can use. Why don't we use a leaf blower? And here, check out my leaf blower. And look at the rippling effect that that will create. Isn't this a great little gadget? I don't know how well it works for leaves, but check that out. So I can do this to create waves in the water. So there you go. There's some simple ways you can create that wave type look. I personally like the leaf blower. You can use a hairdryer, or like I showed, you can simply give it a little jiggle. You can jiggle the table, whatever, to create the effect you want. Do you want to slosh it back and forth, or do you want the finer rippling? Check out this final photo that I did. I think it turned out awesome. Okay, now we're going to be on to our third way of using water to create some cool product effects. We're going to be using a spray bottle for this one, and we got a bit of a mist happening. So I've got a couple of products here, and if I spray them, I create water droplets on it, giving it that wet look, because these are like face washes, shampoos, or whatever, so it's always associated with the water, so creating droplets on it. Now, if you just simply spray water, it'll create a bigger bead and it'll run off and it won't stay long. If you want the water drops to stay on there longer, it's almost like sugar on there, then I use this here. This is glycerin, and it gives a little more staying power on here, and I've shown it in videos in the past. But for here, I'm just using some simple water. We're getting close and you can have a look at it, and then I'll show you a couple of images. But let's get in close and you can see how the water goes in on it. Okay, now that we're all in close, I'll just give it a little spritz of water on there, and you can see how it runs down a bit because I haven't used any glycerin, but you can see the water effect on that. Let's try it with the other product here because it'll show up a whole lot better. You can see how that effect looks on there when you create these little water droplets. Now let's put this in a little bit of a set and up the game a bit by adding something else with some water. Okay, we moved it back, created a little bit of a set, give it another little hit with there with a bit of water. Now, let's up the game a bit. Let's take a bit of suds and add some soap into the scene here to give it more of that look, and we can even have some run down on the tube itself. That gives you a little bit more idea of what you can do with water. You can just simply spray it on and add a little bit of soap to it, and you can add some foam. So there you go. There was our third way. And by using a bit of water with a little bit of soap in it and adding it onto the product, it really helps set the scene a lot better. Check out this final image. I think it looks quite good.
Okay, here's our fourth and final way of using water creatively in product photography. We're going to do some splashing. That's right, we're going to capture some splashes. Now, here's a little setup that I did, and I got the fish tank going on, and I was simply dropping the Dawn dish soap in and trying to time it perfectly on the shutter to capture that. There is different ways of doing the shutter release. You can even get some where it breaks like a little laser beam and then the shutter automatically trips, but they become costly. I like playing the game of how fast are my reflexes and trying to time it, and it costs me nothing but a little bit of fun and time. So that's the way I like to do it. But I will put a link to the video that I did down below from that shoot, and it'll go over the splash photography step by step in full detail. And here's a finished photo from that. That is pretty cool. Yes, the orange slices were added in post after, but the actual bottle going in and all that splashing was created in that little setup that you're seeing there. So that is pretty cool. Now, that was our 4 ways. If you happen to know any other ways of using water creatively in product photography, please leave it in the comments down below. The rest of us would like to know, especially me. I'm always open to learn new and creative ways of doing things. But yeah, I like my little leaf blower here. This was a Christmas gift. I think last year I got it. And yeah, just do a little cleanup in the office here. But yeah, this actually works really well for doing some of those kind of effects, especially when you're playing into the water, or if I need a bit of a breeze on something. But yeah, how cool is that? I did ask for a leaf blower, but not quite what I was expecting. So as I say, we took some average products like these. We created these images. How cool is that? I think these images came out really well. I'm really pleased with the results of it. By simply adding water, it added a whole new theme and concept to these products versus just isolated on white. All right, that's it for this one. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that bell notification so you're aware when I post new videos like this. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out. All right, so until the next time.